OK, so we're watching Chelsea v Manchester City and what was a rather lacklustre first half from Stamford Bridge. Your thoughts on what we've seen from that one? Passing it over to each other.
I mean, it's what we talked about at City. You asked me about City, and I said one thing I think that they do is overplay and pass it too much. And I think we've got a classic example for 40 minutes of what I said. And they just overplay, try to almost slow at times, too slow. And this was that young Chuck Wameka came on for Chelsea. Didn't quite hit that, but he nearly found the bottom corner with it. And although they've had less of the ball, they've actually looked more dangerous than City. I've been really disappointed with Manchester City. I don't know about you, Jace.
Yeah, totally agree. To be honest, I've been a little bit bored by City's performance, but you can be.
Yeah.
You know, and Pep will tell you about the transition was good, the shape was good, we moved it well, we dominated the ball, we did this. But that's what he'll say, won't he?
But they've got this superstar striker who only had 11 touches, one less than Ederson, their goalkeeper. Get him the ball.
What I don't get, they've got the best striker around right now. They've dominated the ball for 20 minutes. He never had a kick.
No.
How can you not get the ball? And I think that just epitomises how slow I think they've played tonight. They moved it through once very quickly when he had his chance, Haaland. And that was the only time in the whole first half they went what we would call vertical. When they've got the ball here, they play too many square passes, too many back. Now watch this, that one through the lines, the next one same, and that was the first and only time they moved the ball that quickly.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to give credit to Chelsea. They get back in numbers. In fact, they get everyone back behind the ball. As soon as they lose possession, they're all back in their own half. That was the one bit of play. Like Andy said, they went straight through the middle and they get the opportunity. But apart from that, it's been out to the right, into the middle, out to the left, back across. I mean, Foden's had, I think, 19 touches. Haaland's had 11 touches. I mean, do you know what frustrates me? You get these team sheets before the game and you go, Haaland, Foden, Gundogan, De Bruyne, and Bernardo Silva, and then you get like Ziyech and all the other names, and you think, we've got a game here, we've got talent on this pitch, we've got a lot going on here, and then you get that, and it just frustrates the living daylights out of you because you want them to just go and play.
Poor Chelsea though. I mean, they suffered a big blow just 2 minutes in. Their star man Sterling, who scored 4 goals for them this season, pulling up with a hamstring injury against his former team. I mean, Graham Potter's luck is just awful so far.
It's funny really, because he's not the first one. Virgil van Dijk, hamstring. Sterling, hamstring.
Pulisic, he's been clattered there, so that's a different type of injury.
That's a different type of injury, but you've got to see more of this.
When are we asking questions about Graham Potter's training regime, his staff doing this, recovery, things like that?
Well, the 2 names I'd give you were at the World Cup. Hamstrings, Virgil van Dijk, hamstring.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get that. You're going to get that. I mean,
Chelsea have now got 7 of their key
the way you went into that challenge, you can do that. You come down
like
awkwardly, you just kind of, your hamstring just tweaks a little bit. It's early on in the game. What was it, 5 minutes?
2 minutes.
5 minutes, 2 minutes. So he's probably not his body's probably not at full temperature yet. So you can get that. I mean, I think he'll be looking, Potter, at his medical staff and his training, and if they're getting not impact injuries but strains and pulls, then there might be something in that. But if it's an injury like some Ziyech get, there's nothing you can do about an impact injury in a challenge like that. But that would be worrying to have so many players out injured, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? All right, because Broha also a hamstring injury as well. OK, let's hear from Carrie Brown, who's at the bridge, is with Sean Wright-Phillips.
Delighted to be joined by Sean Wright-Phillips to get your reaction to that first half. That system from Pep Guardiola just isn't working. He's been crouched in that Bielsa kneeling position with his head in his hands for most of it. Do you think there'll be a formation change in the second half?
No, I don't think there'll be a formation change. I think what he wants them to do is be more aggressive, press higher up the pitch, because that's what he's asking them to do, really. And that's what we're used to seeing City do, especially at Chelsea. So I think that's the issue that I would say that's frustrating him more than anything. And the lack of keeping the ball, they're giving easy passes away, which we're not used to seeing. But in general, I think Chelsea, the first half, I would have said been a better team. It was a slow start to the first half in general. The last 15 minutes picked up and then we saw both teams going at it.
Graham Potter must be ruining his bad luck with the injury. It's a star-studded list now. Lost Mount in training, then to lose Pulisic as well, and Sterling. But Chukwuemeka has come on and he's really livened things up, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think this is the best I've seen Chelsea playing. I think since they've come back, I think they've been assertive. They started with a low block, but now they're being more aggressive. And like you said, Chukwuemena's come on, he's taking people on, creating problems, and they had a fantastic shot that hit the post. And that's what we're all here to see. We want to see them both going hammer and tong at it and creating chances and entertaining everybody.
Haaland with a brilliant clearance to the other end of the pitch. He's not been that involved, but Pep Guardiola told him to stay central, and that's why he was quick on the interchange with that foot. But you imagine he would normally finish that with his left, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you do imagine that he will do that, and knowing Haaland, he'll be beating himself up about it, but he knows he's going to have another chance, and the way he plays, he'll be ready for that next chance that comes to hopefully put it in the back of the net.
Beautifully poised, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Carrie Brown is with Sean Wright-Phillips there at half-time. OK, I want to draw our attention to this headline. English football chiefs to begin talks over biggest shake-up in 30 years. They're gathering tomorrow, talk about whether or not FA Cup replays should be scrapped, whether top Premier League teams play a lesser role in Carabao Cup, timing of the Community Shield, discussions whether it should be played abroad, an overseas Community Shield, and Bowley's, who we've seen in the stands at Stamford Bridge All-Star game. Your thoughts on all of it, really? How do we shake up football for the first time in 30 years? What would you like to see stay? What would you like to see go?
Getting around a table and discussing it is the right way to do it. I mean, managers now probably for the last 3 or 4 seasons have been outspoken about the amount of games that they're playing, the international games. We've got the new Nations League, well, I wouldn't say new now, but it's been introduced. The Nation League's introduced now. We've got qualifiers. So the players just aren't getting the rest. And at the end of the day, we're paying a lot of money to watch quality footballers, and we want to see them on the pitch. You look at Chelsea tonight, you know, the star-studded injury room.
Are these moments, though, Jace, FA Cup replays?
The FA Cup replays. Let's talk about that one, right?
But is this not when you get to see youngsters, like Liverpool, for example,
well, yes,
always feel the young players?
The FA Cup replay is, for me, needs to be spoken about. You need to look at it, really, because what it offers is a lower league team getting another payday, basically, you know, and the opportunity maybe to bring them back to the home ground, which gives them the opportunity to fill it, which creates this crowd. This is tradition. So that one is debatable.
OK, we've just watched City beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. A single goal was the difference. Riyad Mahrez, Jack Grealish came off the bench, had an immediate impact.
Yeah, I mean, Andy highlighted the first half, how mundane and pedestrian it was from Manchester City. And it was disappointing, to be honest, because it just made out for a boring game. Fair play to Chelsea, very pragmatic. We know that Potter plays them kind of tactics. Certainly against City, wasn't going to change. They just dropped deep, tried to play on the break, and nearly made the breakthrough themselves, hitting the post. But you just felt second half just had to be a lot quicker by Manchester City. And you know, they got into it first of all, straight after the whistle, the half-time whistle. They got into it, and he'd made 4 substitutions by the 60th minute. So his intentions were there, and obviously the quickness of play was a lot better. They moved it, they were more efficient. Jack Grealish made an instant impact, and they were value for money for about 20 minutes. I mean, Andy highlighted it there, what the keeper's doing. I've no idea.
I mean, I just don't understand why he doesn't just collect
throw an
this.
arm at it, or
you know, if Jack Grealish had smashed this across the face of goal, you know, like a shot, cross shot, but he side foots it, Jason, and it's within. Oh, come on, he's got to do that. He must get that. There you go. That's the side foot. So it's like a pass. So come on, but it's almost as if, do you know, sometimes when the goalies come out like that and they're not going to get it. They don't want to knock it in front of an area, do you? Yeah. That's what I don't know whether he's thought to himself, if I can't get it.
There's a Haaland standing there as well. He might have that in his eye.
Maybe he had that, and I thought, if I get it and I just drop it in front of me and somebody taps it in. But you can't let that go. You cannot risk that if you're a goalkeeper. You really can't. But this was an example we're talking about. This is them moving the ball quick. Yes, they're coming across the pitch. But look, 1 and 2 touches, they're coming across the pitch. In the first half, they were slow, pedestrian. Oh, he's got to save it.
The other thing as well, I mean, I know you've highlighted the keeper, which is right, but I think Cucurella should do better there, because I mean, I don't know if we can see it again, but he runs with Mahrez from a long, long way. So he knows he's there. He's not done him on the blind side. He's not snuck in behind him. I don't know if we can see it again, but he's actually gone with him. And if you go with him, you've got to go all the way. You even get an arm on him, so you're feeling him. And as the ball comes across, I mean, you'll see him here just the top left. He runs with him a long way, and the ball travels across the pitch. And then he does what any full-back should do. He tracks his run, he has a little look at him there, then he picks up his pace, then he just drops off a little bit. And then that's possibly where...
The arm was there, but he just
doesn't get...
outran him.
Yeah, he just gets caught, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if he's reluctant to go deeper than his
Tackle.
back four. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going back, and I'm thinking, I wonder if he kind of put the brakes on a little.
The keeper might have done him a little bit as well, because he dives late, doesn't he?
Yeah, very late.
Good for Jack Grealish, though. He needs these, and he's given Pep Guardiola something to think about.
He's needed something, Nicky, for quite some time. I'm a big Jack Grealish fan, I really am. I think he's a terrific footballer. I don't think he's shown City anywhere like, in little bursts, little spasms. He has. But I'm hoping that what happened in the second half at Leeds recently, when he had such a big contribution to that game, created a couple of goals for Haaland, then he's created another one tonight. I'm just hoping for Jack's sake that this might be the turning point for him in his Manchester City career. It just takes something like that sometimes. You know, everyone thinks because Grealish is a good player and he's been bought for 90 million and he's going into City, he's going to be the same or better. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that. Big signings have gone wrong before, so I'm hoping that that's the turning point for him, and we'll see more and more of that kind of stuff from Grealish.
I think as well, when you look at him at Villa, he's obviously the star player, but he plays week in, week out, and a lot of the ball goes through him.
All the ball goes through him.
He did, yeah, you're right. But obviously gets to Manchester City, and then he kind of, in that squad, you play a rotation game, don't you? And I don't know whether that suits him. I think if he got a long run in the team and felt like he was always going to get picked, because some players do play on that confidence, knowing they're playing. Maybe that might help him out, but I agree with Andy. I thought the second half the other night, I think he created 2 assists, didn't he?
2 assists, yeah.
Yeah, 2 assists, and he had a much better second half, because the first half he was very safe. It's like he'd been out the team, which he had. He gets in the team and just goes sideways all the time,
Sideways
or
and
backwards.
back, too often.
Yeah, and he was getting one-on-one situations where you think, go on, Jack, just go down the outside, or just come on the inside, you know, and just get the full back, not knowing what you're going to do. But then he'd come back out and he'd go across the pitch, and then he'd go back. Second half, he was a lot better, and then tonight, he's got on the pitch, and it was like he tried to prove a point.
We have to I mean, sometimes you wonder about coaches, and, you know, Guardiola must have been as disappointed as we were at half-time when we went in there, Nicky. And you have to give him credit, because he made the 2 changes. He's got both full-backs off, and said, right, you know, Cancelo, Walker, off you go. Changed them, changed it a little bit, the way they were playing. And then brings another 2 on at a very good time, 2 wide players, stretching them. So that's both wide areas. He's really he freshened up in that second half, and they made so much difference. They were quicker through the lines, they were quicker when they were moving it laterally as well. I just thought they were excellent second half, where they were really poor first.
Yeah, interesting. Wonder what's wrong with Phil Foden. All right, well, let's
That tells you something. Sorry, Nicky, that tells you something. They're dominating the game, played quite well second half, yet the centre back wins man of the match.
Man of the match. Yeah. I mean, he's loved by his manager, his teammates. He's admired around the Etihad. That's for sure. Like you said there, we're not thinking about the title. We're not looking at the title. The manager said we've got 63 points up for grabs. Do you believe them when they say that cliche answer is often delivered?
No, I think having been serial winners of the title, I think they know where they need to be at certain times. Of course, you know, it's different being out in front, isn't it, than being tucked in second or third and chasing the group. You know, being out in front can be can be very, very difficult at times, but they've done that. You know, they won it in all different ways. So as long as they're in touching distance of the leaders, Arsenal, then, you know, the belief through the club will be there. So, you know, they've just got to keep winning games, putting pressure on Arsenal. And like we questioned Arsenal's credentials, they've never been in this position before. A lot of them players, nearly all of them, Zinchenko, Jesus, they've won titles. Not many of them have won titles.
No, but they've answered every question, haven't they, so far, Arsenal? That's the thing I like about them. That they've answered every question so far. OK, they've only got, really 18 games, 17, 18 games. Long way to go. But right now, they've lost one Premier League at Old Trafford, I think, wasn't it? That's their one defeat. So they're certainly doing something right, and they're answering all the questions. There's absolutely no doubt, remembering how it was when Everton won the title and were winning the title for the first time. It does the nearer you get to the finish line, you just wonder, have we got the experience? Have we got the know-how? Will we get the luck? All those sort of things that come in. But the one thing City know, Jason's right, is they will keep their foot on the throttle, Nicky. They will know that the more pressure they put them under, the more chance they have of catching them. If they don't get to them, and I think if they get within 2 or 3 points, then we'll see how good Arsenal are then.
Absolutely.
I think.
Keep narrowing the gap and make it interesting. Okay, well, let's hear from City's manager, Pep Guardiola. He's with Carrie Brown.
A frustrating first half, but plan B and the substitutes certainly rang the changes.
Yeah, we didn't play good the first half. It was very slowly, and I'm so sorry for Joao. I asked him to play in a position that they use, but of course the second half, the impact from Rico, mine as well, but especially Rico in our rhythm since the minute one was clear.
The changes at half time, were they tactical only?
No, we changed just position players. The rest, the way we played, it was the same. Our press was a little bit different, was better. So, yeah, we did. Second half was, I would say, the level we had after the World Cup. We played all the games.
Great celebration from Mahrez's goal, but particularly fond towards Jack Grealish. A wonderful pass finished by Riyad. But what?
They have an incredible relationship between them. They are close friends, and everyone who came in make an incredible contribution to the team.
Let's talk about this title race then. So reducing the deficit to 5 points, how important was the win? And sum up this title race for us this season, because you've won 5 of the last 6, but a new opponent with Mikel testing you at the top. In this new year, how are you seeing it?
Well, they are so strong. So even the game where they lose against United, they were better. So the numbers are incredible in the way they play. The last game against Newcastle, they draw, but they play fantastic. So the important, I would say, after 4 Premier League in 5 years, still we are there. Normally the tips drop a lot after success, and still we are there. It was a week that we could be at 10 points, and now fortunately we're at 5. Still the margin is big, and we have Old Trafford right now. But to start these 3 games in the Premier League so tough, like it's, here Old Trafford and Spurs at home, start to winning is so important.
Thank you so much.
It's a fascinating narrative, isn't it? The teacher and his apprentice, he must be thinking, what did I do? Teaching him all my tricks. Well, there's 5 points in it between Manchester City and Arsenal. City have got Man United next, then Tottenham, then Wolves. Let's talk Chelsea, because they did really just have 2 clear-cut chances, Chippenwenger and Lewis Hall at the end there, but again, Graham Potter's men, they're just, you talk about it, Jason, you don't know what their identity is, you don't know their philosophy. Every game they could look slightly different.
It doesn't help, like Andy said, picking how many players,
62, 3 now?
62 or 3 players, you're looking for some consistency, trying to find some form. It's very difficult to do when you keep changing personnel, but he also tinkers tactically as well. He can go 3 at the back, he goes 5 at the back, he goes 4 at the back.
Is that frustrating as a player?
Well, yeah, because sometimes you've got to believe in your tactics and what you do and how you set up, and you've got to go with it. He had a tremendous start, the bounce effect. I think Thomas Tuchel had worn the dressing room down, I think, and it needed freshening up. In some quarters would say that, others thought he should have been given more of an opportunity, but they pulled the chute. Graham Potter come in. It was a surprise, as well as he'd done it at Brighton, but I always think of a Chelsea, they've always got that bit of glamour about them, haven't they? They've always had that touch of sprinkling of stardust, whether it's the manager or whether it's across the players, and I just don't know where they're going to go.
I'm wondering, Jason, if with the new owner, we've just see there the last 8 games and the form table, it's not good enough if you're Chelsea coach. No matter if you've only been there a short time, that club demands results. But I'm wondering with the new owners, whether they've said to Potter, you know what, Graham, we need to change. We can't keep doing massive deals to get the big players in. We need to get some of our own through as well, some younger players. And you're going to get time. Because when you look at people like Chuck Mweka, Conor Gallagher, Omari Hutchison, Lewis Hall, these young kids who are getting an opportunity right now, I know they've got a lot of injuries, and whether they would get that opportunity, I don't know. But if he's been told, you can move this team on, and we'll happily have a bad season, or accept a bad season, not happily have one. We'll accept it as long as we can see that this club moving forward and these players are going to be good enough to come through. But it is a gamble to do that. It is a
and
gamble.
they're going away from the philosophy, aren't they? Which
absolutely.
I don't
But
know.
maybe the new owner wants that. Maybe
I don't know
it's
if
not
Todd
Abramovich.
Bowley. I don't know. He seems very similar to Abramovich almost so far. He's really going for some big money signings. He's willing to put his hand in his pocket. He's spending.
See that form he's on there, Nicky?
Oh, yeah.
That form he's on now,
16th
if
in the
Abramovich
form
had been in
page.
charge, he'd be gone.
Oh, yeah, be gone.
He'd be gone. There's the difference. And that's why I don't know whether he's been assured that he's going to be there. So let's nurture it and let's try and bring these young kids through. And you know, we'll wait and see, but I don't know what Chelsea are right now. I agree with Jason. I don't know what they are. I don't know whether they're close to being a good team again or whether they're close to being a bang average team.
They're in transition, aren't they? Okay, let's hear from the manager, Graham Potter.
Graham, obviously not the result you wanted it, but was it a much better performance?
Yes, yeah, it was. When you consider everything in terms of losing Raheem really early and then Christian as well. So I thought the lads gave everything. It was a spirited performance. We had some opportunities against obviously a top team. So apart from the result, which would, of course we never like to lose, I'm proud of the players in terms of everything they gave.
Injury-wise, you said to us before the game, it never rains but it pours. You must feel like you're in a downpour.
Yeah, it's tough at the moment. I must admit, and I feel for the boys, of course. So we have to stick together. It's one of those times. Disappointing to lose the guys, but the players that came in, the players that were on the pitch, gave everything, and that's all you can ask for.
Any idea how long those two injuries are?
No, not at this stage. Sorry.
On the goal, could you have done better in any areas?
Well, I thought we committed too many men a little bit too high to press them, and then it opened us up, and then you have to credit their quality. I think it was a good goal from their perspective, but I think we probably got caught a little bit in terms of Kepa and Mark thinking each other could have dealt with it, but it is what it is. The quality of the opponent's high, and in any goal you think you can do a little bit better, but like I said, the goal's the top goal from Manchester City's point of view.
There's also a huge difference in what they were available in terms of on their bench to what you have.
Yeah, but that's where we're at the moment. That's what I say. I mean, there's nothing to. It is what it is. As I said before, we can't complain about it. We have to just get on with it. The boys that were on the pitch gave everything tonight, and they did what we asked them to do. There was some spirit, there was some quality, there was some opportunities. Like I said, Manchester City don't give you much, but I thought we earned something from the game. But it is what it is.
Does it underline how short you are when Conor Gallagher is the senior man of the three subs coming on?
Yeah, I didn't realise that. Yeah, we had to freshen it up. I think we had to. You could tell that the boys had put in a shift, which is normal against Manchester City. But Lewis and Amari are young players that are just starting out, and Conor also I thought gave everything when he came on. So it's nice to have that personality from the bench.
You said just now we need to stick together. Is that very much a case of everybody at the club and the fans as well? Because you know the results are not what you want, or anybody wants indeed at the moment. But you're going through a transitional period. You've got a huge injury list as well, and you're trying to get players into the club. So how testing a time is this for you? And do you need patience, which is something you don't often get in football?
Well, you always have to take your responsibility, and when we're not playing well, you want to improve that and take that responsibility. But at the same time, you hope that people look at the whole context and put it into perspective and see exactly where we're at and exactly what we've been through and what we've had to deal with. But at the same time, emotions are high. That's how it is. You have to ride out any storm and try to stay level and keep the players going. Like I said, I think the crowd today appreciated the performance. I think they were behind the team. They could see the team giving everything. So our supporters have been fantastic with us.
You've got one over the line, or a couple. Benoit Baliashile, what can you tell us about him?
Well, he's a young centre-back that's played a few games already. Physically really good, left-footed, which is a profile that we maybe haven't got so much. So he comes into the squad, and we're excited to work with him.
Thanks, Graham.
Thank you.
Well, we'll see who is next. Yeah, Graham Potter talking there. 7 injuries to the team. It is tough times. They play Manchester City in the Cup next on Sunday.